Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a slightly more sedate style of presentation. I think I watched last week's video back just before I posted it onto obviously YouTube and Facebook. Oh my god, I rattled through that one pretty quick. I watched it and all I could hear was all I could think of, for Christ's sakes man, slow down, nobody can understand what you're saying. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit this week, and if I run over, I run over. Hope you've all had a good week. It's Sunday, April the 16th, I believe. I'll start with a few comments on last week's video. Mark, we were talking about Creed 3. As you quite rightly said, I've spoken to a few guys at work who all said they liked Creed 3, but not for me. I could very happily have turned it off after an hour. Not heard or read a good review so far, but about 5 bad ones. I'm actually really looking forward to watching this just to find out whether it's as bad as you and Jason have said that it is. I'd be very curious to know what Chris thought of it if you've actually seen it, because I know you like your Rocky films, and I'd be very curious to know whether you thought anything of it. I will get round to the Creed movies at some point very, very soon, just to round off the the Rocky journey that I'm on at the moment, and I shall let you know what I think. You also put another great video. It really is one of the things I look forward to all week. Don't stop what you're doing. Thanks so much, Mark. As I said last week, you have no idea how much things like that mean to me. Pretty much most weeks, as I've said before, I'll look at this and I'll think, why do I do this? And then I read something like that and I think that's why you do it, because people enjoy what you're doing. So thanks ever so much for that, Mark. That is really very much appreciated. Chris, you watched later than usual, but was worth the wait. That was my fault for uploading it so late. I can't remember for the life of me why it took so long. Oh, that was it. It took ages to upload to YouTube. It took ages to process. I don't know what it was. I think it was because I did it on the PC rather than on the laptop. So I'm not going to make that mistake today. And hopefully it should be uploaded round about, I would guess, round about 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. So apologies for that. Enjoyed muchly as usual. Again, appreciated, Chris, very, very much so. I'd definitely say go for the Batathon, mate. You definitely should go for that one. I haven't seen any of the newer ones. I've not seen any of the Christopher Nolan ones, so I really, really have to get my arse into gear on that one. I have seen the Batman with Robert Pattinson, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Long film, but I really enjoyed it. And I've also seen I think 2 of the Tim Burton movies, the first 2, Batman and Batman Returns. I haven't seen any of the others though, so I really do need to start that, but maybe you doing a Batathon will inspire me to get my arse into gear on that one. So thanks for the compliments, mate, again. Steve Mack, we were talking about Terry Gilliam movies, and you've given me quite a list to go at. Let's see, other Gilliam films include Time Bandits, which I have seen and absolutely loved, Jabberwocky, Brazil, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is getting an Arrow 4K release soon, Tideland, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, I think I've seen that one as well, I'm sure I have, 12 Monkeys, that's on my watch list, as you know. I've had the Blu-ray through for that one. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Isn't there a documentary on the making of that doing the rounds at the moment? I'm sure I read something about that somewhere. That's with Adam Driver. And The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Brazil is his masterpiece. This is what I've heard. So I'm looking forward to getting into all of those. Thanks for the list, mate. Jason. Jason, you're in Skeg Vegas at the moment. Morning, mate. I would imagine the view out of your window is a little more nice than mine. Let's see, I never have any doubt about your videos. I really appreciate that, Jace. It's my late night Sunday viewing. I set my phone upon the bed, snuggle under the duvet and watch away. I really appreciate that, and thanks for all the compliments, guys. As I say, it's you lot that keep me going with this. I do enjoy it. It's a bit like a ritual now, and it breaks my heart when I have to announce that I'm not going to be doing one this week for one reason or another. I really do hate it when I have to do that. But obviously life occasionally, very occasionally, gets in the way. But it won't be happening anytime soon, hopefully, anyway. So thanks again, all of you, for keeping me going with this. I was looking at last week's video, as I said, and I started to wonder, did I do the Kardashians and the Real Housewives a bit of a disservice last week? No, not really. I've been pondering on it and thought, was I a bit unfair on them? No, I think they're really, really bad role models, especially for the youth of today. If we had to go for a slightly more homegrown version, The Only Way is Essex. Oh God, I saw an episode of that once, and it was really, really painful. I just think it's really sad that there's probably a whole generation of teenagers out there that think that Essex is really like that. I can assure you it isn't. So, I just think they're really bad role models unless you're interested in things like vanity, flashing money around and stuff like that. These people, you know, the Kardashians and the Real Housewives, by the way, there's nothing real about them. They've basically made a whole career out of doing absolutely fuck all. That's it. I'm not talking about the Kardashians. Just winds me up. And I did wonder whether I was a bit harsh on a movie that I talked about called The Car, Road to Revenge, which was the sequel to a much beloved movie of mine, The Car, made in 1977. Looking at it on reflection, the movie itself as a standalone thing probably isn't bad. But if you watch it as a sequel to the 1977 movie The Car, you are going to be very, very disappointed because it doesn't bear any resemblance whatsoever to that movie, which I thought was a real shame. That to me, that movie was a real missed opportunity. And Jason Kirk, you did try to warn me, as I said last week, but it's no. I mean, I was probably a bit too critical about it. You know me, I don't like doing sort of reviews and being completely negative about things. The acting wasn't particularly brilliant. The car itself was cool. It wasn't the same model that was used in the original, but it was quite a cool looking car. But that was pretty much about it. The criminals in this dystopian future reminded me slightly of the kids in Class of 1984, which I'll be talking about one week soon because I was looking at that on the DVD shelf about a week ago and thought I really have to watch that again. Just managed to grab the Blu-ray of it, but I digress. The criminals in that looked pretty much like the kids in Class of 1984, so there wasn't really anything original about that either, but recommended, I suppose, if you want a standalone violent sort of sci-fi dystopian future type thing, but as a sequel to the 1977 movie, avoid at all costs. Let's see, what else have I got here? I've done the Kardashians, I've done the car. Bin it or keep it for this week. These notes are all over the place this morning. Nothing is in any order, so please forgive me for the way this comes out. Bin it or keep it this week. Rita Sue and Bob too. Let me put this cup down. There we go. Now, I think Jason said you already know the answer to this one. And I think, Guy, you said something along the lines of, you're not seriously going to bin that, are you? No, I'm not. Before I go any further, this is definitely a keeper. My other half wanted to watch this last night, so I thought I'll combine a review with a bin it or keep it. The story, such as it is, I mean, you pretty much know what it is. On paper, 40 years ago or 35 years ago when this came out, it probably looked pretty much okay. If you read or if you took the story now, I don't think you'd be able to do it the way that they did it with this. It's basically the story of a 40-something married man having a physical relationship with, sex, with two teenage babysitters that work for him. Um, it had, it has the potential now to look a little bit creepy, but it isn't. It also has the potential to uh, look kind of predatory, but it isn't. It really isn't. You made a couple of good points last night, Jason, which I'm not not going to mention, um, but you were quite right. It can kind of look like that. Obviously, you've got Siobhan Finneran. Is that how it's pronounced? Siobhan. I always look at it as Siobhan. Siobhan Finneran, Michelle Holmes, George Costigan, who was brilliant in Shirley Valentine, and Leslie Sharp, who's had a hell of a career since this. They've all pretty much gone on to forge careers in acting since they did this, but this was the first film for a lot of them. Um, I really, really enjoyed this. I saw it when it first came out. It was recommended to me by one of my customers in the video shop who bought it back and said, if you haven't seen this, put it on and watch it. And I did that night and thoroughly enjoyed it. I was not shocked, but surprised at how raw it actually was. Looking at it now, it is a little bit tame. It is as un-PC as you could possibly get, short of Blazing Saddles or stuff like that. But it's a really, really entertaining look. A real snapshot of a time that obviously no longer exists. This is Thatcher's Britain, on a council estate, and it is pretty much exactly as anybody that's lived in one of these places will remember it. I thought it was amazing, and a little bit of trivia for you here, which I did not know. There's an actress in this called Maureen Long. She plays Rita's mother. You get a fleeting glance of her during the first couple of minutes while the credits are rolling. You've got Sue walking to Rita's. She goes in one door, comes out the other with Rita, and to the left of her, there's a lady sitting with her brothers drinking beer. You only see her for about 10 seconds. That is Maureen Long. What I didn't know was, and I found out this week, Maureen Long was a Yorkshire Ripper survivor. There's a new one for you. It caught me off guard as well when I first heard about it. I read the story of it last night, and I'm obviously not going to go into detail on that one. But he attacked her, left her for dead, and here she is turning up in this movie. It's only a fleeting glance, it's not a speaking part, and it's the only movie that she ever made. But yeah, surprised me, very much so. Standout performances in this would have to be Sue's drunken father and her mother, who were both absolutely brilliant. Apparently the father was a stand-up comedian, doing the Yorkshire clubs and stuff like that. They are notoriously bad audiences, so he must have done really well with that one. But if you get the chance to watch this, if you've not seen it, and I get the feeling pretty much everybody has seen this, I would highly recommend it. Just go into it knowing that this is not, you wouldn't be able to make this nowadays, not the way that it's portrayed in this. But a cracking movie. If you've not seen it, I'd definitely recommend that one. What have we got here? Q&A. Let me do a couple of Q&As, a couple of quick ones. We've got quite a long one here actually. Mark, you asked me the film you love but everybody else hates, and the film you hate but everybody else loves. Let's see. The film I love that everybody else hates, and I don't know whether they hate it or not, but it got really hot. Well, both of these got really, really bad reviews when they came out. I loved them and still do. I've held this up quite a few times. The Stud and the Bitch. This was Joan Collins's successful comeback. The Stud was made in 78, and I believe The Bitch came out a year later in 79. I absolutely adore these movies. Again, a snapshot of late 70s glitzy club life. Joan plays Fontaine Carlad, who's the wife of some kind of a senator. She owns and runs a club called Hobo in London, and employs Oliver Tobias to run the place, based entirely on his looks and his physique, I think, if I remember right. But I love these movies mainly because they have got an absolutely brilliant soundtrack. Any sort of disco track that you can think of from sort of 78, 79 is contained in this. As I say, these movies got bad reviews when they came out. They were called exploitative, boring. The Bitch particularly got terrible reviews. I watched it and thought, am I watching the same film? Yes, there are a number of sort of sex scenes in this, but looking at them now, nearly 50 years on, they're nothing. They really aren't. But if you want to see what sort of club life and basically London nightlife was like in the 70s, the late 70s, have a watch of this. If you've not seen them, they are just great fun. The movie that everybody loves, and I wouldn't say I hated it, but it did absolutely nothing for me, and I've not watched it since. I probably should give it a second go. Deadpool. Don't know what it is about this. I think I'd heard so much about it, mostly from colleagues at work who said, you need to watch Deadpool. I can't believe you've not seen Deadpool. How many times have I heard that? And I thought, right, okay, ordered this, popped it on one afternoon, watched it and thought, is that it? Is this the one that everybody's raving about? And I basically mentioned it at work and everybody, how could you not like it? How could you not? Did you find, the script is brilliant. It's a funny movie. But overall, I just found the whole thing a little bit bland, a little bit boring. Oh God, that's not going to be a popular one, I know. I know there are people going to be out there saying, you're missing the point. This is, oh God. Maybe I am missing the point, but I have to say Deadpool did absolutely nothing for me. And I have no intention of giving it another go. And I certainly won't be watching the sequel. I know there are a lot of people that love this movie, mainly at work. But I'm sorry, it just didn't work for me. So that is the film that everybody loves, but I didn't really like that much. So there you go. Oh God, here we go again. I'll run through this quite quickly. Oh no, I've got another Q&A. Here we go. Jason, you said, how many 4Ks do you have at the minute? You said you wouldn't go mad with them. I said you'd have 100 by the end of 2023. Can't see it, Jace. I'll show you what I've got so far, and I will rattle these through quickly because I've shown these off before. Obviously, the Close Encounters box set, which I've shown hundreds of times. This came out on 4K. Couldn't resist it. I've got this movie probably. I've double dipped a couple of times with this one. I believe I've got two versions on Blu-ray. I did have a version on DVD, but I think I got rid of it. But that's one. I'd say I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I've already seen it, just not on 4K yet. Silent Running, which is a movie that I've heard a lot about but never actually seen. It's got a cracking reputation. This is Mark Kermode's favourite sci-fi movie. I believe it's also got a cracking soundtrack by Joan Baez, so I'm going to be getting into that one. Star Trek The Motion Picture. This was heavily publicised last year that this was coming out. This is the director's edition. Really looking forward to seeing what that looks like on 4K. I'm not going to say that again because there we go. Top Gun Maverick. I know I've got to get around to watching this because I've got people on my back about that one. Jurassic World Dominion, another one. Divisive film. Some people love it, some people hate it. We shall see. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Not sure about this one. I popped this one on and I didn't think it looked a great deal different from the Blu-ray, but again, perhaps I watched it under the wrong circumstances, I don't know. And obviously Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4, which I have taken a look at, and the quality of this is superb. There's a definite upgrade on that one. I got this one, it's not even out the cellophane yet. The Daniel Craig Bond movies, I believe it's got all of them on. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre. It hasn't got No Time to Die, but I have got that on 4K upstairs. I just forgot to bring it down. Doctor Sleep, which I haven't watched yet. I want to listen to the audiobook first before I take that one on. Pretty much the same with this one, The Shining. I would like to listen to the audiobook to see how it compares with the movie, which I have seen many, many times. Smokey and the Bandit, one of my favourite road movie stroke comedies. Quality of this is absolutely stunning. Again, I put these on when I get them just to see what they look like, and so I do know whether the transfer is good or not. And finally, one I'm really looking forward to, I put it out there that I was looking for a disc that would show off the 4K capabilities of the TV. And this is what came back. Everybody recommended The Martian. I think, Chris, you recommended Interstellar to me, which I'm looking at getting at some point soon. But that is my 4K collection so far. So I don't know. Do you think with that little lot, Jason, that I'm going to be up to 100 by the end of 2023? I don't think so, but we shall see. I think I did say this before. But that's my 4K collection as it is at the moment. I'll come back to this one. Disney have been accused of blatant colorism after unveiling the cast for the Lilo and Stitch remake. Oh, God, here we go again. A live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch was first rumoured in July 2022 and left fans eagerly anticipating its release. As Disney remained tight-lipped about the show, many were thrilled when they released a full list of the cast. The enthusiasm soon turned to disappointment when Disney revealed Lilo's older sister Nani would be portrayed by Sydney Agudong, who is, here we go, biracial with Eurocentric features. What the hell even is that? I'd have to look up what that means. Fans have complained the 22-year-old actress isn't an accurate resemblance to the animated character who was drawn with darker skin, black hair and ethnic features. As the movie tells the story of a native Hawaiian family living in the fictional Kokoa town, many of its Hawaiian fans feel misrepresented. Obviously, people have taken to Twitter. I'm sorry, but Disney needs to stop with the washing and bending of its characters. Disney have been approached for comment, but not got back yet. Oh, so bored with this now. Will you people please just cease and desist? I'm not even going to talk about it. I just wanted to put it out there. What do you think? Are you sick now, really, really bored of hearing all these woke snowflakes saying, you can't say that, you can't do that. Oh, God. I know this is coming from somebody that said that Idris Elba couldn't play Bond, but that was for a very specific reason. I don't know. I'm not even going to comment on that one. Right, review, quick one. Terrifier. Watched it yesterday. I've got some comments here. Gareth. I put off watching it until the sequel came out. I enjoyed them both, but not in a rush to watch them again. The sequel's not for you. No shit. Steve Mack. I watched it last month. Pretty horrific, and I've got the sequel in 4K. Putting off watching it as I'd heard it's even worse. Do you think? Rick. Hope you enjoyed it, Tony. David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, is an absolute legend, a really down-to-earth dude. You've met him. Guy, reaction vid, not on your fucking Nelly. I ain't watching it again. Jason, wait till Tony gets around to Terrifier 2. Tony has no intention of getting round to Terrifier 2 unless he's literally forced to watch it. By the way, Jason, Beaster Bunny, I'm on it. I've forgotten about that one. So, Terrifier. One of the most violent, gory, unpleasant movies I think I've ever seen. You pretty much all know the plot. It's just about a murderous clown that makes Pennywise look like Krusty, according to the poster, and it's pretty much right. I watched a lot of it like this. It's just unbelievable. It's next level gory. I thought I'd seen it before, but I think I'd seen something else sort of similar. I wasn't ready for the levels of violence in this. What I do refuse to believe is that Terrifier 2 could possibly be any worse. I'd be curious. Just drop in the comments why Terrifier 2 is worse, and I have no intention of watching it. Um, I'm not sure I could stomach it. I'm really not. I had real issues with this one. Um, do I need to watch it again? No, no. Why would I want to put myself through that? Um, I mean, if you like your horror gory, and a lot of horror fans do, it's gone down really well. I know with the horror community, they all absolutely adore it. Um, and to me, it was a really well made film. The acting was passable in it. The gore effects were second to none. I mean, I couldn't fault them. Um, and it did basically what it said it was going to do on the tin. It's not scared me, but it was pretty revolting in parts. I'll just say the girl hung upside down, and I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but that was absolutely horrible. The sound had to go down at that point. It kind of made Rambo look like the banana splits. It was that kind of violent. I've never seen anything quite like that. There was a movie came out a few years ago called Hatchet, which introduced the world to Victor Crowley. I thought that was quite violent, but that was violent in a funny way, sort of Evil Dead kind of violence. This was another. This was another story altogether. Um, but I will say it was really well done. I did enjoy it. What I saw of it. So Terrifier 2, if you like your horrors, ridiculously gory and violent, you knock yourselves out. And finally, Bruce Lee Golden Harvest 4K box set is being released in, I believe, July. Um, I am really looking forward to this. Dave Lowe, for 120 quid, I'll wait. In no world is that justified. Plus, there's a better edition that's an Arrow exclusive, but still far too expensive. However, this is the one I would get if I won the lottery tonight. I looked at that one, David. I couldn't see any difference between that one and the Zavi one. Maybe you can clue me up on that one. But I really want it. The only way I could justify getting it at the moment, just bear with me, is if I sold these after I bought it, just to recoup what. These are the Bruce Lee ones I've got at the moment. I've got this one, which I believe I've seen on one of your photos, Dave, when you used to take pictures of your DVD collection. I'm sure you've got this one. This is all the movies on Blu-ray, including Enter the Dragon. I was quite surprised by that, actually. I thought Warner owned the rights to Enter the Dragon. The other one I've got, and this is quite a rare one. This is a DVD collection. This was the 30th anniversary commemorative edition. And this is a nice little box set. If I've not shown it off, I'll very quickly do it now because I'm running out of time. Let's see, you've got all the films in these little fold out things like that, and you've also got this rather nice little book that comes with it, which we all know how totally crap I am at doing this, but there you go. So I think this is a nice little set. I will probably end up keeping this one because I've had it for so long, and it is a nice little set, and should 4K ever become redundant, I've always got this to fall back on. But they're the Bruce Lee ones that I've got. I almost certainly will end up getting that 4K release date, but I can't see myself being able to resist that one. Even though it is £120, I get the feeling these movies will look stunning, and Arrow do absolutely superb work on their releases, so it's going to be brimming full of extras. The quality is going to be superb of the actual films. I can't wait to see what they do with Enter the Dragon. Hopefully they will all be uncut. There is a kind of a director's cut of one of the movies. Is it The Big Boss or Fist of Fury? I can't remember. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. A new feature I'm going to start from next week, and I might do it on Retro TV Zone because this is more fitting to that. But TV series that I grew up with. I'll just quickly show you this one now. This is one that I used to absolutely adore, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Irwin Allen was just the king of, in his later career, disaster movies like The Tower and Inferno, The Swarm, one of our favourites. What was the other one? Poseidon Adventure. But before all that, He did sci-fi series like Lost in Space, The Time Tunnel, Land of the Giants, and this absolute classic which starred Richard Basehart and David Hedison aboard a submarine called the Seaview. Um, I used to absolutely adore this. This is one series that I grew up with that I never get bored of watching. I've got all 4 seasons of this, so I may start doing this on Retro TV Zone because it seems more appropriate to that. Right, 30 minutes. Thank you ever so much for joining me. It's been a little easier this week. I think I've got through all my notes. Whatever I've not got through, I will hit next week. So thanks ever so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe and share would be appreciated. I do have a new subscriber. I can't remember his name now, but I'll read him out next week. It's Scooby something or other. Have a great week, folks, and I'll be back with you the same time next week. And again, thanks for keeping me going. It's you guys that keep me doing this, even though I do love it. So have a great week, guys, and I will see you same time next week. Take care. Ta-ra.